Hey everyone, this is David from David Wallman Photography, and today I'm going to do a review of my REI Quarter Dome 1 tent, and I personally own this, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. Overall, am I pleased with this tent? Yes, very much so. Good decision. Would I recommend it to someone else? Yes, if they were looking for kind of the same features I would. Obviously every person's looking for something a little different, has different adventures, but if they were looking for a light backpacking one-man tent, yes, I would recommend this. And are there any regrets or anything that I'm really disappointed about with it? Not really. Overall, I have been very pleased with this tent. So let's talk a little bit about why. First of all, let's talk about the design. It is a 1.5 pole design. So it's got this one orange pole that goes from the one side all the way down to the foot, and then it's got on this other side the silver pole that comes up halfway and comes out over above the vestibule. For being, they save on weight that way, and as far as strength, I'll get to that when I kind of talk about durability, but no concerns there. It's been great. It is not considered a freestanding tent. You do have to stake out these two little points at the end by your feet. I kind of wish that it was a freestanding. I feel like it wouldn't add too much weight, but in all honesty, that's a pretty minor detail. It hasn't been a problem thus far. I just stake it out. It's got a nice large vestibule area, and I've been pleased with that. I normally put my 70-liter backpack and shoes and other gear in here if it's raining or anything like that. Inside is very nice. It is, as far as size, it's got a 37.5, I believe, inch peak height, so I can sit up in it. It makes things like changing a lot easier. I've had bivy type tents before where you have to basically do everything lying down. This is very nice. I can tell you that it's quite the luxury. It is, from point to point, the floor space is 90 inches long. Now I can tell you that lots of reviews, people who are taller, I think most people who are about 6 foot say that it's not long enough. And the reason is 90 inches is from seam to seam, head to foot, but because of this sloping wall, most people's head and feet will touch the wall if not. I'm not super tall, I'm 5'10", and it fits me perfectly, almost basically snug as a rug. Snug as a bug in a rug, that's what I meant. And my sleeping bag is a few inches longer than me, so it will kind of touch against the end, and so I'll get some condensation, but I normally just put my rain jacket over my feet or something to not pull that through. But honestly, like, I am not butted up against the end of the tent, so I wouldn't recommend it for people who are really tall. I don't know what to recommend, but for anyone, I think, under 6 foot, I would say this is probably would fit. But go ahead and go try it out, find out for yourself. So that's basically design, and so let's talk about kind of the material and durability of it. So the material is very thin, and when I was looking for a lightweight backpacking tent, and I was really concerned. I hesitated for a long time on buying this tent because of how thin this material is, and I just kind of have been out of the loop on how far technology has come. And so I thought, man, this thing's just going to rip on me, and if a little gust of wind comes up or something. Not the case. I can tell you it has been awesome. Even though it looks really thin and like it's going to rip and stretch, it's been very good. No issues with it, and I've had it out in heavy snow, rain. I've been on different peaks that have had some pretty brutal winds, probably nothing more than 20 miles per hour, and I have that facing against the wind, not broadsiding it, obviously, but still, I've been very pleased with the durability of it. It is just a 3-season tent, but I would say I've kind of pushed the limits of it and have taken it into some pretty cold and brutal scenarios in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, California, etc., on different peaks and low level. I'm in Rocky Mountain National Park right now, and it was cold, but dry. Either way, so the material, very pleased with it. So it's got two guy lines, two different points for guying out that velcros to the poles so that the tension's on the pole. So I kind of wish there was a guy out point on that side of the pole, but there's not, just these two. I've actually never used them yet, but that's alright. It only comes with 7 stakes, which is just enough for the tent and the fly. If you wanted to use these 2 guy points, you would need to get 2 more stakes. And 1 more guy line, because it comes with 2 guy lines and you need 1 for the back and the other one's an extra. So, yes. And you would need to get the footprint as well. Ventilation is very good. The fly has this little feature right here that pops up, and you can actually reach it from the inside with this zipper here. And so you could change it in the middle of the night if it starts snowing hard or blowing at an angle or something, you could change it. But most of the tent without the fly is all mesh, and so it's got very good ventilation. I don't have an issue with the condensation. As far as the fly, it comes down most of the way. There's a few inches here towards the bottom that doesn't get covered by the fly. Honestly, like I said, I've been out in snow and rain. This thing has been awesome as far as weather and wetness. It's got like a partial tub bottom, so the seam comes up about 1 inch from the end, but I have been in swampy areas or where I've had standing water on my footprint, and so I can see it inside. It's never come through the tent. Yeah, I have always stayed dry in this tent, even with just sitting on water like that. So very pleased with the water durability of this as well, and the sides and how much of it does cover. When you tighten it out, there's really not too much that luffs in the wind. It's pretty taut. I would say the only thing that's kind of difficult is if you actually really get the vestibule really tensioned really well, it makes the zipper a little bit more difficult to get started. So I kind of leave the vestibule a little bit looser, but the rest of it stays pretty taut. Again, this is a bad example because these stakes aren't all the way in the ground because there's so many rocks here. So forgive that, but if you have it all the way down, you can actually really tighten this guy down pretty hard. Zippers I've been very pleased with. The zippers are smooth and don't get caught. I can do the inside one-handed now easily. It slides beautifully, and the tension on it is just right. So very pleased with that. This outer one is tough to get started right at the base where all the tension is, but once you get it past that first inch or two, this is very smooth as well, and the little rain fly doesn't tend to get caught in it too much either. All of the corners either have these loops or grommets that you can put the stakes through, or they've got these cleat features, which are very nice because then you can just tighten it and then catch it, and that's very handy as well. Here on the back side, we've got this other little feature for ventilation that's really nice. The fly has this little extension that clips onto the tent, so when you guy it out, it pulls part of the tent out with it. That's really nice for ventilation. I don't always do that, but it does keep the fly away from the tent and keeps the tent pulled out away from you on the inside. Just more ways of kind of buttoning it up. Yeah, and then so very pleased with it. Price, really not bad either. I don't actually remember the price, and I can't look it up right now because I have no service, but I think it was around $200. I'll put a little blurb here of text of what the actual price was. But overall, very pleased with it. Been pleased with it in all weather conditions. Been pleased with it as far as durability. Been pleased with it as far as weight. Been pleased with it as far as zippers and weatherproofing. Overall, just very pleased with this tent. Yeah, I can't really think of any drawbacks. Honestly, I've been very pleased with this and plan on making the most of it. I'll eventually get a 4-season tent for some of my higher alpine hikes that will be coming up, but this guy for sure is just definitely going to be my spring, summer, fall, and actually in Southern California, probably winter too, tent, and I've just been super pleased with it. Again, the weight, I think minimum trail weight is 2 pounds 2 ounces, and I think with flying gear it's like 2.8 or 2 pounds 8 ounces, somewhere right around there. So very lightweight, Some of the other ones you can get lighter, but you sacrifice either in the height and you get something bivy, or you get the fly comes up and doesn't cover as much, or it's way more of the bug netting, and I don't know. There were just different things. This was what I came to and have been very, very pleased with. Yeah, if you guys have questions, please comment on them. I'm sure I forgot something because I wasn't looking at a list of what I was going to talk about. So if I forgot something, or you have a specific question, ask me down below, or direct message me, and I will either just answer it via a comment, or if you want specifically pictures, I can email them to you of a certain feature, or kind of whatever you're looking for. I'll do my best to answer. Either way, this is the REI Quarter Dome 1 person. Very pleased with it. I would say if you're looking for a backpacking tent that's going to handle most situations, go get it. I love it. Thanks very much for watching. Subscribe, and more will be coming. Have a good one.